Hello.
Yeah!
How you doing?
Yeah, the same as the last time you asked.
Everybody's been saying that you're looking really red.
I really feel red.
Mark went to me like, is he wearing makeup? And I was like...
I am wearing makeup and feel red as well, mate. Thank you.
Have you had strawberries?
Kong has asked me, have I had strawberries, and looks really concerned. No. Why is that anyway, out of interest? Oh, what was that?
Oh, so
It was alcohol poisoning.
Strawberries on the rider.
When we went, it was alcohol poisoning.
Well, welcome back to part 2. Thanks for sticking about. Hope you enjoyed part 1 and enjoyed your mince pies and crackers and booze and whatnot. Right, so I've got to do my one before we get the guests up.
Excuse
is that right?
me. Yes, please, mate. What is your number one? Because you've been a really like Jimmy Downer on everyone else's. So
No, just South End.
okay.
So my one's a bit wet, but it's nothing to do with the swimming pool that Ian Jury was in. But my favourite thing about Essex is kind of you lot.
Fuck off.
Because the reason being, right?
What a wanker. That is the most sycophantic thing you've ever said. And can I
said this on the phone earlier. You went, oh, mate, that's really fucking nice.
Well,
That's what you're saying there. And now, as soon as we're up here, fucking rip him.
I was setting you up, mate, because you were telling me last night how it was, right, he said that, right, he's made that very, very nice and altruistic. Last night, the first 2 things he said to me that might be his number one were his own club night.
No, I said the pink toothbrush.
Right. Which is your own club. Number 2, this podcast.
That's fucking true as well. But I thought I need to wind my neck in because that's too much. But the reason is that the podcast and the club are kind of all part of the things that I like about this area. And the things that I like about this area is the fact that growing up in this area, I can see my best friends out there, and I grew up in bands with them, and I've watched them go on to write books.
No one's making eye contact with you.
And I've watched them go on to write books, become tattooists, and one of my dear friends is about to move out of Essex and try and live off grid, and he's going to be a future podcast guest. And
I hope so, man. And can we do that? I'd love to go out, Joe, and go there.
And our special guests are, aside from being our guests, they're my friends, and they've all pushed in music, and Pip as well, like Pip has, and looking over there, I can see Pip and I can see Tom, and Tom's made amazing documentaries, and Pip's obviously, we wouldn't be doing this. I can see Riker and Jordan and everybody that are my friends are creative and have pursued their kind of dreams, which in this area is quite hard to do, because you do, as I mentioned earlier, get pushed into that, go and get a job, get a mortgage, got to work, got to have a telly, got to have this, and and everybody's kind of done that thing where they ain't earned fuck all money, but they've tried to do it to better themselves in regards to pursuing the career that they want to pursue. So yeah, my favourite thing about Essex is my creative mates. Simple as that.
Yeah, no, that's really nice, mate. One of the ones I was going to do that you spoke to me about last night was that I'm surprised no one's done yet is Essex Girls.
Okay.
Just waiting for the silence there, because I wanted to see where that went, like if people thought... because we were talking earlier with Mitch and Dan about, expectations on what is Essex and whatnot. And when I thought about it, I was like, it's weird because it's a ridiculous stereotype. And you was just saying about the people here that have gone on to do excellent things. My girl mates here, they're not what people go on and talk about with regards to Essex Girls. We've got 2 business owners here and someone who runs a fucking charity. Not runs a charity, does fundraising for a really cool charity in London. It's not the white stilettoed like bimbos that you'd expect to see. And so one of my other ones was my girl mates who have actually helped me not be such a arsehole to girls. Such an arsehole. But I mean, they do say that Essex Girls are bimbos and easy lays, and I don't think that's true. I think that just goes for all women. Sorry, I couldn't keep that I couldn't keep being sincere. And also, genuinely, the Dagenham handshake. There's been a union of Essex boys and Essex girls who have created one of the most beautiful sexual moves that we used to see a lot in the 90s that we don't see so much these days, do we? Do you know?
Is that called a Dagenham handshake?
That's the Dagenham handshake.
Let me just clarify. For those that are listening, Chrissy's showing his hand almost like.
Are you that one? Are you that way? Are you that way, Nick? Hogden's like, no, fuck you, mate. It's like that.
So it's Chrissy's kind
There's
of
different techniques.
If there was no audio now and you was just watching this, it's like Chris is doing some kind of like shadow puppetry, but he's kind of crossed. If you imagine you're opening your hand side on and you've crossed your top two fingers and you're hiding your third finger down, but your little finger. So from that, I can imagine that the two upper fingers are going into the vagina.
Listen. Let me explain it because you're making this not sound very romantic.
Right. Sorry.
The stun gun. I like that. Pinky in the stinky.
Right.
Two in the sausage wallet, and the thumb's just petting the gerbil's nose. That's the.
Fucking hell.
I genuinely don't think that actually is a thing, right?
Right.
I don't know. It's just what I tell people, but yeah, it is. Jesse's like, yep.
Chris,
Take care, guys. Let's go.
Single.
Yeah, I mean, that's it. Low point.
Right. So let's crack on with our guests, and yeah, much like all our previous guests, they've been friends for years and years and years. And in different guises and such. So, debut album come out week before last, I believe. Sold out debut show last Friday. Make some noise for Ollie and Johnny from Deaf Guitar Pop.
Yes.
I love the fact
Thanks,
that Johnny
Ollie.
kind of stood behind you and helped you on stage like you was elderly there. That was amazing.
I'm the senior in this band. Hello, mate. How you doing? How the fuck do we follow the Dagenham handshake?
Sorry,
Mind
guys.
blowing.
I'm sorry, man.
I'll have to explain, Johnny.
How
you
not
have to use a
to,
microphone when you're on stage. I know you're in a
sure.
band. Like,
That's always my problem. First two songs, no one can hear.
Were you in a band once, Stu? I don't think you've mentioned that tonight.
have I not mentioned it tonight? I must have at least 3 times.
Guys, before we get started, podcast gold, but have a bang on that.
So what that means is, yet again, Chris is holding up a Santa sack. Oh no, a stocking. Sorry, and Ollie's just took one.
I have to admit, every
Johnny-
time I've seen someone pull out a Brussels sprout, I've been like, yes.
Another Brussels sprout.
The odds are getting better, mate. The odds are getting better.
They are getting better.
I think this is a sprout.
Oh, lads.
If we've both got a sprout, then I reckon we quit the band.
Well.
Quit the band
yeah.
if we've both.
Thank
we've
you,
fucking
and
all got a
sorry.
sprout.
It's
Have you both
ridiculous,
lucked
the
out with
anticipation.
sprouts?
I'm actually quite excited to see what
I've got
happens.
Ferrero Rocher.
You got
Did
Ferrero
you
Rocher?
really?
Did you?
Yes, bruv.
Or have you wrapped the sprout in gold?
Oh, Ollie, why did I feel ashamed that I didn't do
should've
that
done
now.
that.
Yeah, I feel gutted I didn't.
So you came round the whiffin, and obviously you don't drink, but Johnny, we got a bit trashed, didn't we?
I had to
And
make up for it, didn't I?
yeah,
really?
we got to that point where we was like, I fucking love the Beatles, man. And like, and
How good is that point of the night when
Yeah.
you just go, fuck, how good are the Beatles?
yeah, play that song, play that song, play that fucking song. And yeah, I'll do. Oh, that ended up with us singing
Night boat to Cairo.
Night Boat to Cairo. Fuck me, yeah, that was carnage, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But okay, well, it's a really nice fucking family feel here because Mitch from TheMilk produced your debut album.
The very talented Mitch.
And
Mitch.
we've got other people out here tonight that have come and played your previous band's Christmas party, and we've all been in. And you guys, when you was in your previous band, played next door in the other venue with my band.
That was the highlight of our career, supporting Serious Problem.
I can imagine. I can imagine. And yeah, it's good.
It's all quite incestuous, isn't it?
It is. I think that's because anyone that kind of wants to do something in this postcode kind of gravitates towards each other, and there is that camaraderie to kind of
I
push
did
each
find
other
it very
along.
stirring, your speech there on your creative friends and Essex.
I
That was
noticed you
lovely.
look like you've been crying.
I've
Yeah.
got to say, mate, that was really nice.
Thanks, buddy.
Yeah.
Thanks,
After I
buddy.
told him, don't start talking about your own club night and podcast.
Okay, right. So, you guys both Brentwood?
Well, I've been about, mate, thinking about it, and then Essex. I was born in Arlo.
Just to clarify, you're not a traveller.
I'm not.
Right, okay.
Defined traveller.
Okay.
But yeah, born in Arlo. Grew up in Loughton. Then moved to Ongar, which, can I just say, someone said Kelvedon for that secret nuclear bunker.
Kelvedon Hatch.
The secret nuclear bunker is a source of great pride for the people of Ongar, and it is not in fucking Kelvedon, alright? It's Ongar. It's definitely. I lived in Ongar for 10 years, and that's the best fucking thing there, so don't take that away from me. The library's quite good as well.
So,
You would get on with Pip, I think. You guys, we need to hook you guys up. You can talk about libraries and Tesco's.
me and you have
Sounds
spoke
great, that
at
Tesco.
length
It's good,
for every time we've met up about Essex and music and stuff like that, and so we've exhausted that chat. So tonight, what is your entrance into our top 5?
We gave great deliberation on this, didn't we?
Yeah.
What did you talk about before?
Well, the cult. I know it might not be popular, but we have to say the cultural hub that is the Sugar Hut,
Okay.
obviously.
Did we meet there?
Of course.
No, we met in Southend at the
Royal Hotel.
Royal
Hotel, yeah.
Royal Hotel, yeah.
You
Which
weren't
was
having a
actually
good
really
night, were you?
night, Yeah. Yeah.
But we did. It sounds so weird. Pre-Towie, we set
I
up.
love this story.
We set up an indie night in the Sugar Hut. Opening night, Adam's had to go, unfortunately. Adam was the DJ, wasn't he? It was
Oh,
it.
right,
I
yeah,
believe
yeah,
he
it
was
was
our
us,
guest
Black Market,
DJ, and then the following week was Cunt and the Gang
Yeah.
played live, and then you played live with your
Yeah.
band, which, needless to say, the night wasn't a success because nothing against your band, but going on, we got mixed responses because it was that kind of Towie crowd,
Yeah.
building
and
already.
we're playing Libertines and
Interpol.
and Interpol, and they're done up to the nines, fake everything and
Yeah.
fake tans
It's a
and
bit of a culture clash, wasn't it?
yeah.
Not in a good way.
But we had a go, didn't we?
Yeah. It's a funny night,
It's a
man.
lovely thought, that though. I'd love the thought. of
Like
you
to
in
make
there
it,
trying to push.
try to make it happen.
Yeah.
It's proper that.
It
isn't
didn't last, did it?
No, we tried. We tried. So
And
okay,
yeah,
so
and
what did
what
you
other
say?
things were
Oh
there?
god, there was more.
Was there
Oh
any-
yeah, so Lakeside, obviously.
Lakeside,
That's
yeah.
like Essex's version of St
Oh.
Paul's Cathedral. Isn't it?
Yeah.
That's our landmark. Got to be proud of Lakeside.
Yeah.
And weirdly, you know,
Alistair Cook as well. I know I'm gonna get fucking boring.
Here we go.
It's always
here comes the
happens.
fucking cricket people.
But Alistair Cook, England's all-time record run scorer.
Yeah. And then before we
Essex.
proceed into what it actually is.
One round of applause. I looked at Stu there. It was like showing a dog a
At
card
that
trick.
point, when he said that, if you could have seen my fucking brain, it was just a monkey with symbols. Just like
Wait till I get onto the Ashes.
But then we've got to say the £4. It's not our favourite. This is a close second. The £4 Cinema in Romford. I don't know if anyone's been there. So good.
If Lakeside's the St Paul's, then that is the Tesco's in Pitney.
London. Yeah. It's just an amazing place. Like the arcade there is like the same one as it was in the 90s. Nothing's changed since the 90s. It's the cinema
£4,
in Liberty.
and if you go on a
They
Tuesday,
reopened it and rehashed
2 for
it.
1 on a Tuesday, £2.
did I miss
To
this?
watch a
Where
film.
is
That's
it?
crazy.
Romford, Liberty.
Romford.
You
That's
can have
mad.
a
It
costs
blinding
more to
night
get there.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can have a blinding night
fucking
out on a
quality.
tenner. You go in there and you feel like you're balling, mate. You know, like fucking.
You buy a
popcorn, large
you
one
get
of
a
them,
meal
£2
deal
quid.
from the Sainsbury's downstairs. That's more expensive than the film.
It's quite
It's
true.
fucking
No, it's crazy.
proper,
Yeah.
mate.
Is that Liberty? Is that near Liberties? Because I remember I used to
Well,
hang out.
when he said it's in Liberties, so I guess that's
Oh, I
probably
missed that.
near
I missed that.
Liberties.
I missed that.
Yeah.
I used to hang out there as a kid. Saw
It's
Jurassic
cool.
Park there. It's
yeah.
pretty
Did
cool.
you pay £3.60 because you had your? Does it not work outside
No,
of
'cause
Baz?
it's a Baz card, you numb nuts. You needed the Raz card.
But yeah, you can go in there. You can play Time Crisis. buy some cheap popcorn.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
fucking great, mate. Honestly,
Oh, so good.
What's Time Crisis?
Oh, it's something that you don't want to know about. It's that one.
It's a
One
bit after your time, Stu.
Is that
After your
an arcade or Dungeons and Dragons?
No, it's one above Dungeons and Dragons on the nerd thing.
Right, right.
It's arcades. Yeah.
Okay.
Stu, we've just done a New Year's Eve podcast, lads, and we've been doing New Year's Eve resolutions, and we've made bets with each other. So every month we have to review it, and if we're falling short, mine happens to be drinking. there's forfeits, and my one is.
Let me just clarify now, because this will come out after that comes out.
Yeah.
Chris has said he's going to drink 6 times in 2018.
We're looking at Pip because Pip knows how fun. That's a challenge,
And
right?
that's based purely on drunk casts. Apart from a drunk cast, he's not going to drink. And if he does, he's going to shave Bick, his head and his beard.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Wow.
So that's it. There needs to be some sort
I
of.
can't wait for Ball Chris
Did
in
I
February.
just hear bullshit? Was that cut?
You can join the band.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. I mean, obviously, I've got to be honest about it, but I'm a bit. I can't really. Not very good at keeping secrets to myself, as we all know. But your one is if you can't stop,
Eating.
you want to just have a healthier lifestyle, basically.
Well, me and 76, who's sitting in the front row, is our producer, and Brad, who's over there filming. Us 3 have said that we will lose a stone by February the 1st.
Right.
Not collectively, each. We will.
And what happens if you don't?
What was the forfeit? I can't even remember. Right. Yeah, I don't even know what it was.
You've got to do that Dungeons and Dragons podcast.
That was it. You wanted me to do a Dungeons and Dragons podcast.
But I'm going to get him dressed up as an ogre. But that also means, Pip, you've got to come on and be a wizard. So, yeah, he's up for it. So that's going to be amazing. Anyway, back to you guys.
So growing up in Essex, like I asked this to Mitch and Dan, like, because you when I first met you, you was in a different band. You was in the Tomorrow Men.
Yeah, we're the one that nicked the drill, weren't we?
You nicked the drill from our venue in London, and I weren't even going to bring that up, dude.
I'm sort of weirdly proud of it now. I just want to see the CCTV footage.
It's quite good seeing someone putting a DeWalt drill in a box and then running out the venue with it.
I used that at work on Thursday.
All right, good skills. Good skills. This is kind of a good home. Like, and you was in States of Emotion, and yeah. So what was the kind of drive to not? I'm going to ask you the same question I asked Mitch, because it's and Dan. It's a question that I'm always fascinated by, why people make these life choices to not go for the thing that is thrust upon you, and to try something a little bit left field, and to try and pursue a creative angle.
Yeah, you take this away, mate.
Well, you're sort of constantly wrestling with it, because it is hard sometimes. Like conventional perks, they're nice. It's nice to have the balance, but then ultimately, if you're that passionate about something, like, I think what speaks volumes is like music, for instance, especially in this day and age. If you're like a sort of if you're in a guitar band, that's a hard thing to try and make a career out of. But if you still want to do it, and you're still having a go at it, and you know that, then surely that is passion. Do you know what I mean? Epitomised. So it's I can't even really tell you, other than that, I can't really explain any more deeply than that. You have to. Do you know what I mean? It's like passion, addiction, obsession. It's all in there. It's just
And I saw him in a band when I was 15, and I just thought, I want to be like him.
Yeah.
I know you meant Luke, the drummer.
I wish.
So, okay, was you happy to kind of put aside, like, money obviously wasn't a drive at that point, that was the goal. Wasn't
I didn't always have a Bentley, mate. No.
No, but it wasn't, was it? Do you know what I mean? It's like you know that if you're going to pursue that, your other friends are going to have cars, and they're going to be kind of going to.
With houses and everything. But you just, I mean, I suppose it's like your religion, isn't it? You know what I mean? You sacrifice a lot for it. That's our version of religion. You know what I mean? Our art and our music. So. Yeah.
Did you ever feel the urge? Did you ever feel it somewhere within you that you was trying to prove to these people that, this is my thing. I'm gonna make. Because I know it sounds self-indulgent and it sounds a bit ridiculous, but I felt like that. I felt like I'll fucking show you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do my band, and I'm gonna do this, and
Because you do feel that, like,
in-betweener. You
mates
feel
of
like
the
the
city
in-betweener, and you
like,
want to
they
fucking
belittle it a little bit.
Yeah,
So, like,
absolutely.
how's your band getting on? And
How's
that,
your
like,
little band getting on? Fuck off.
When they're
Yeah.
driving
Fuck
in
off
their
with the word
BMW
little.
3 Series, little do they know, I've got a micro, for fuck's sake. Sweet, mate, you.
I can do you a Raz card as well, Johnny, on the slide. I'm up for it.
But did you ever feel that
Yeah,
you
I
had
think-
something to prove?
I think most creative people, whether they like to admit it or not, are driven by their own inferiority complex.
Definitely.
So yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Johnny?
Yeah, what he said. I'm still trying to work out what inferiority complex is.
So stupid.
Is that when
monkey
when you're
clapping again?
bald
Ask
and then you're
Chris.
playing a band to stop people
Something like
thinking that
that.
you're bald?
Something like that.
But I think it's one of the, I've had too much to drink and that's why I'm going down this fucking avenue now. But I do think it's definitely one of them things where I do think that creative people feel that drive is to kind of prove that if you take that path to try and do something that isn't that instant gratification of cash and house and car, you know, you've got something to say rather than something to kind of, you know.
For sure.
I
Yeah,
think
but it's a better way
sometimes you do sort of. There are the moments where you think, "What the fuck am I doing?"
Mate, we've all sat there.
Yeah.
We've all been in fucking bands and played gigs to 4 people and just thought, fucking hell. But I
But
think
then you see your micro parked outside and you think, "Fuck it."
home and dry. It's about life goals, Johnny. But no, but but even when you play them shit gigs, you still the next day get up and just think, I'm going to write another song today. Do you know what I mean? And I think like when that stops, then maybe it is time to stop. But I think all the time you get up and you've still got that, I've got something to say.
But that's why this thing's been so good for us, innit? Where we both sort of got to a point with our previous bands where we were like, I don't know, maybe it's come to the end of the road a little bit. And then one sort of sunny morning, got a call from this splendid chap over here, and we sort of ventured on a whole new journey, didn't we? Really?
You can see the energy in that, lads, as
Yeah.
well. Like even in your like music videos, and recently your gig that went down pretty well. It looked quite funny from
fun,
the
yeah.
from the fucking clips I've seen.
Yeah, it was wicked.
And you've chose music that you're totally passionate about, and it's niche, and it's because of that. It's just fucking worked, isn't it? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
it's connecting. You know what I mean? Like we've, for up until about a year ago, we were just classic sort of failed musicians to a point. Do you know what I mean? That were too stubborn to let it go. But yeah, this project, we put our first video out last November, and it's definitely connecting on some kind of level. You know what I mean? Strangers are turning up to the gigs, and we're selling merchandise all over the world and shit. So yeah, that's exciting in itself, you know. And I think, like you say, it's a niche, and if that niche, if you connect with them, they'll support you till
they commit to it. You know?
Yeah. It's
Once
like
you've
their
won
own-
them over, sort of thing, I suppose.
absolutely.
Yeah.
So they care more than the average punter. do you know what I mean?
Yeah. And
So if you
the
get it wrong, it's fucking bad. But if you get it right, then people
yeah.
definitely give
Absolutely.
you more.
And the demographics 40 plus, so they've all got a bit more money. Indie fans.
Well, look,
And the same haircut as me.
I've had 3 pints and a big glass of wine.
Jesus.
So I'm
You're
going to
start
say
talking about sex robots.
no,
again.
no. I'm conscious that I'm going to start cuddling Johnny and talking about Golden Slumbers by the Beatles in a minute. So
What do you think of the
Elbow
Guy of
cover.
Elbows version?
Do you know what? Right, I got sent it.
Well
right?
done, Johnny.
I got sent
You
Elbow.
don't like Elbow, do you?
Elbow doing Golden Slumbers, and I ain't got a problem with Elbow. I think they're all right.
I've
It's
seen
like,
you cunt them off on Facebook.
Yeah.
It's like every other day.
Anytime anyone
Fucking
starts with,
Elbow.
I haven't got a problem with.
Yeah.
Usually,
no, I haven't. Like,
I ain't got a problem with blacks. Well, you said that a lot, you know. So I see you say that a lot, and I'm like, I think there's racism there.
So, I love the first Elbow album. I think Newborn is a masterpiece, right? But they've took on my favourite Beatles song
Mental.
for a fucking Christmas advert. They might as well have filmed the video in Southend. It's like,
We've done that.
no, I know, but yeah, yeah. All right, well, look, I think it's all right. I think they've done it all right. What are you thinking?
I think it's fucking awful. I think. Really.
What are you saying? What are you saying? Yeah?
Yeah, left it alone.
Yeah?
What was the one?
See, I'm looking out to the crowd, and the 2 people directly in front of me are massive Beatles fans, and the 2 behind me I know like Elbow. So, that's the key. Right, that is it, right? Because... Exactly. Because when I first heard it, I thought, is it going to go into Carry That Way? And it didn't. And I was like, oh, you do get the good bit again. Right, but you don't get that
but it's
Paul
not as
McCartney.
stirring when you get it
don't get that Paul
twice.
McCartney growl.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. Security, can you
I've got a dog called Paul McCartney, and he's definitely growled.
All right, well, look, thanks ever so much for coming down and doing this.
We haven't done the number one yet, you pisshead.
Hey, no, I thought you did. I thought you'd done the £4 cinema.
No, that was second.
No, that was
that
number
was
two.
second,
Oh,
mate.
fucking hell.
It was just the accent.
This is why I shouldn't drink. Fucking
Explain,
hell.
mate.
it was, the Essex accent.
The Essex accent. How we
It's
speak.
a good choice.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, how would you...
Now the rhythms and the intonations, and there's one in particular where you're singing on a song. I'm not trying to promote our songs. That sounds well. on our latest single,
iTunes, 79p.
available on iTunes now. What is it? Suburban. Where you sing
I don't fucking know, mate.
one day, and what a beautiful thing when an Essex person says that.
Day.
Consonant cluster. A. Like, it just goes on forever, innit? One day, and it just fucking Billerica. It's like, it just fucking never ends, and I love that. I think it's a beautiful thing.
What I love about it, it's just so comical, isn't it? You know, and no matter how, you know, some of us try and fight it, watch our P's and Q's and stuff, but, you know, I don't care what anyone says. After 5 beers, every Essex boy turns into Danny Dyer. That's, you know, and it's comical.
I think when you came up here, I went, have a bang on that.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's just comical, isn't it? It's just comical.
My son.
It's good fun, isn't it? You know, you
It
just gotta
is.
When you were
embrace it
saying
for what
about
it is.
in jury earlier, like the geezer singing in his accent and
Yeah.
that's a big thing, isn't it? Like
Yeah.
singing in your own accent, because
I think it's difficult to as
it's
well.
hard to sing in this accent, and that was a big thing, wasn't it? Like,
Yeah.
I mean, who's done it? Damon Albarn's done it. Ian Jury.
We're gonna bring Pip on at the end because he gave me a nudge on something in the break, and I won't mention the artist, but he's got something really nice to close the show with, which epitomises what we're talking about now.
I've also got an apology to Scroobius Pip right now. So I'm really sorry, mate, but I looked into Essex accents, and I discovered that one of the themes in Essex accents is that sometimes we shorten some of our words. So instead of seen, we say sin. And this is an apology that no one gives a shit about, other than I've been busting his balls over this for about fucking 15 years now. So no, you're all right to say sin, because every time you say sin, I dig you out about it. And I'm sorry, but it's still the second least annoying thing about how you speak. So we can... Well,
I have a little issue with some Essex terminology.
okay.
Yeah.
Babe.
Babe. I never say it.
Mate.
Mate. I start every sentence with mate. I do.
Why, babe?
I don't know.
No, babe, I think I'm not massive on babe.
You just don't like
Babe.
it.
I think it gets a bit patronising, the word babe. Like my brother and his missus, when they started their relationship, and for the first 5 years, it was always babe. Even when you could tell they were fucked off with each other. Do you know what I mean? It's like, oh, babe, don't do it. And you just say, you don't mean that. It's hollow. So, yeah, babe. Like, mate, as you say, Johnny, I'll say mate till the cows come home. But babe, yeah. I reserve that to babe over there.
Is bruv Essex?
I reckon.
It's new school, isn't it? Yeah.
Don't
Well, I
like
don't
that
know. I
either.
think that's like
Yeah.
a. I'll take that from Del Boy. Del Boy calls
Oh, yeah,
Rodney,
he
bro.
does, doesn't he?
I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah.
I'm not. They're not Essex, but yeah, I know. But
So
I say bruv
the,
to my brother.
the Essex accent is an extension of the kind of East End Cockney.
Oh, yeah, that's where it comes
I think
from.
so.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
The
it's
most
really-
familiar one. And when I was looking at it earlier, they're saying that the traditional Essex accent has been pushed further north. But what we have now
more of a
is the
country accent,
yeah,
isn't
exactly.
it?
Is we
Yeah,
have
yeah.
the more Cockney sort of intonation.
There's comparisons. A lot of people get confused between the Essex twang and Australian accent as
Yeah,
well.
totally.
Because there's lots of A's.
Oh, what? So you want to talk about the Ashes now
mate.
then?
That's cricket. Yeah, so that all got serious and deep for a second, but yeah, that's a good shout, man. The Essex accent, in all its glory, and sometimes it's irritating, but that's what I like about it. Yeah, it is
All
what
right.
it's a lovely way.
Well, look, sweet bruv, nice one, geezer.
Nice
And,
one. That was pucker.
Diamond. Yeah.
Mate.
Cheers, Whiff.
You diamond.
Top geezer.
Thanks, mate.
Cheers.
Give it up for Deaf Guitar
Let's
Pop.
get up, people.
Johnny, cheers, Dave.
Thank you.
Very much, mate. It was a lot of fun. Cheers, buddy. cheers, mate.
Nice one, mate.
Right, so we're going to stay on the music tip before our penultimate guest.
Someone's dropped their business.
And our penultimate guest, in regards to things that have happened in the Essex music scene, he just stole a chocolate orange.
He's at all of that, what's he?
Right, and I know full well that he didn't even want it.
No, and the cunt,
Look at that.
he picked up the Toblerone. We had a chocolate orange and a Toblerone here to do a Toblerone. And how he said hello to me, he picked up the Toblerone and just hit me with
Smashed a whole bag of popcorn as well.
Now throwing it.
Unbelievable.
Unreal.
Mark Watts, ladies and gentlemen. He will be a podcast guest at some point.
We really want him on.
Right, okay. So, of all the things that have happened in Essex music, it's, there's lots of things that have kind of gone global and kind of been spoke about. But I think there was one moment that literally pricked everyone's ears one Christmas, and it's perfect for this Christmas podcast.
Yeah.
So to tell us all about it, he's our penultimate guest, Mr. John Morter.
John Morter. John, how you going, man?
Oh, mate.
Thanks, mate. Pop your hand in there, mate. There's still 2 Ferrero Rocher in there, man, so you don't know what you're going to get, huh?
Right.
Okay. All attention.
How much tape do you put on these?
How do you commentate on someone opening
I've egged the
a
pudding
Sprout?
on the Sprout wrapping. I'm sorry, buddy.
It's Radio 2, couldn't you?
And we're nearly there. We're nearly.
Oh, no.
Sorry,
It's a
man.
Sprout.
Sorry.
It's a Sprout.
You
It's a
win
Sprout.
some, you lose some, buddy.
So, John, we've spoke many times about getting you on as a guest on the podcast, and we've never got around to doing it.
That's right.
But I see you quite regularly at the Toothbrush, and you spent lots of time growing up there, and you featured heavily alongside Dan and Mitch and Pip and many others on the Pink Toothbrush documentary.
Indeed, yeah.
Yeah, but you're obviously come to notoriety. Is that the right word to use?
Notoriety, infamy, I got told as well.
Okay,
yeah,
let's go with
for
that.
some reason.
And so you're responsible for.
Rage Against the Machine being #1 beating X Factor that year. And actually, as well, the Justice Collective 3 years after for the Hillsborough tragedy single.
Oh, yeah.
And we did that, we beat X Factor
No,
as well
that's
with that
fucking
one.
amazing.
So we've done it twice.
Well done, John. That tune, what a tune. Good, well picked.
So you grew up, as did I.
Yeah,
and
as all humans do.
Yeah,
Just in case anyone's
Me
confused.
too, actually.
Yeah.
but obviously you're much younger. But for me, at 44 years of age, there's a big gang of us over, in the crowd over there on the left that used to go to the Gas Club in Leicester Square every Wednesday night, and we heard at the time the then DJ, which was Errol Orkin, play Rage Against the Machine, Killing the Name, and to hear that for the first time as a kid growing up, we loved Faith No More and stuff like that, and all the other indie stuff that was going on. But that song has got a fucking energy that and a hit that weren't really going on at that point.
It's off the charts, and even now,
Yeah,
driving with that song is not a safe option for me.
It's a fucking angry record, isn't it? And like and however many years later, it still feels a dance floor in any alternative.
Doesn't feel like it's
nightclub.
dated
No,
either.
it doesn't sound dated, and that's the key to it. It still sounds as fucking fresh as a daisy. And I don't know who produced that. Do you know who produced that?
Garth Richardson.
Right. Okay. Fair play to that dude.
Yeah.
Right.
It still hurts as well. If you ever dance on the dance floor still 20 odd years later, it still hurts bad when you dance to that tune.
So before we go into what your choice is, because I know it's probably going to lead on from this. So I know you've probably said this story a million times, but and I've spoke to you about it. But for those that are listening for the first time and I guess this evening, explain how it kind of come about.
Okay, well, where shall I start? Shall I start with my roots in Essex, in a town called Southwood Ferrers? I stole a load of vinyl from my next door neighbour's Skip that they'd thrown away, and it would like Slade and Bowie and stuff, and that's how I got into things. And I wanted to be in a band and I wanted to be a musician since I was a kid. And as I grew up, I worked out I wasn't very good. I tried everything, and I was just crap at everything. I couldn't even sing. I couldn't dance. Whatever. So I always wanted to be in a band, and I wanted to have a big hit single and tour the world, and it never ever happened. And so when I got older and in my 30s, 3 kids, and the mortgage and all that, and I still really wanted to get into the music industry, and I just couldn't do it. I wrote letters to you name it, every label, no joy at all. And then I discovered social media, and I discovered how to do dodgy things on Facebook. That I just realised I'm on a podcast, and it's probably going to go everywhere.
That's all right.
But,
Chris still does dodgy
it's
things
okay,
on
fine.
Facebook most nights.
Do you have listeners? You do. Yeah, you do actually, don't you? Right. Okay. Well, anyway, so I found some dodgy little things to do on Facebook, which could grow crowds quite quickly. Right. And at the same sort of time, they changed the rules of the charts where downloads counted. Yeah. And I kind of put the two together, and I thought, do you know what? Actually, hang on a minute. If I can get a big crowd of people to all download one track, because I've read the rules, you see, I can make my own hit single. So I can have a hit single without actually being a musician, because I'm a crap musician. And so that's kind of how it started. And it actually started as a joke. I did it with Rick Astley, Never Gonna Give You Up, in 2008. And it bombed, it didn't work. Yeah, I tried to rickroll the nation, and it didn't work. It failed badly. I did everything wrong. And then the year after, I really thought, actually, do you know what? I made so many fuck-ups the year before that I know probably how to do it now. Yeah. So I'm going to try it again. Yeah. And I thought, well, I'll pick one of my favourite bands. Right. I'll also pick a tune that's got nothing to the most opposite to the X Factor possible. Yeah. And it's got the word "fuck you" 17 times in it. I thought it'd be a brilliant Christmas tune. And and off we went. And it just picked up. It just went mental. I mean, it literally my life changed.
Within a week?
We did the whole campaign in 3.5 weeks.
So how did that go
from nothing to number one?
From me, one person in a Facebook group, to 1.6 million in a Facebook group, and a Christmas number one, and a Guinness record for the most downloads in a week.
Crazy, man. How did that
go
down?
It was mental. Yeah.
So, how did that go down with the man? Because obviously you were doing it as a, fuck you to those guys. And what was their reaction to that then, man?
Not the most positive of reactions, really.
No.
I mean, we. I did quite a lot of different things to try and get interest from people, and to try and. For example, I played the media off against each other a little bit, where I managed to get myself onto a Sky News interview, where I'd faked, in those days, you can't really do it now, but I faked a screenshot of a Facebook group where it looked like it had 500,000 people in it. And I sent it to a few like BBC, ITV, Sky and all that. And I thought, just as long as one of them falls for it, we're all right. And Sky came back to me and sort of gave this email going, what fucking hell.
They bought it.
Wow, that's good. Do you want, any chance you can get into London? I said, yes, I can, no problem. And so I went on to Sky News at 6 p.m. It's on YouTube somewhere if you want to go and find it. Where literally I probably had me and 6 of my mates and a dog in this Facebook group, really. There was no one in it, really. But they thought I had 500,000 people in it. So I got exposure on TV, stuck it straight on YouTube and sent it to the BBC and all that, going, well, you snooze, you lose, guys. They've got in there quick. And so I did a lot of things like that. Simon Cowell, I sort of, how can I put this, semi-bribed a journalist at the X Factor press conference to ask a question about this big campaign that was going on. Well, it wasn't that big at the time, but we said it was. And he came out and he called me cynical and stupid. Simon Cowell calling me cynical and Simon Cowell of all people calling me cynical and stupid. Yeah. So yeah, he didn't like it at all, which was brilliant.
So 2 weeks in, you must have realised that this is gathering pace quite quickly, and so moving forwards to sort of Christmas Day, was it like you was as a kid when you're like thinking, obviously magnified, but what's Christmas number one? Like, because you're thinking, fucking hell, did you have any idea? Could you see the midweek chart? Could you see where you was going with it?
No. I basically, the only thing I knew about it was I knew we were doing quite well. because I had a couple of moles in Sony Records that even though they worked for the X Factor, they really wanted us to win. I can't remember, it's all coming out now, what the hell. So they were telling me, and they were basically they literally were trying to derail the Facebook group, the campaign, and I know, because we knew ahead of what they were going to try and do, we could stay one step ahead a little bit. And I only knew when it was number one, when, I remember her name was Helen Pidd, and she was a journalist at The Guardian. And she rang me up at about 2 o'clock on the Sunday and said, right, you might want to just sit down. I was like, well, who are you, first of all? I don't know who you are. But I'd get random phone calls. And I goes, look, I'm not supposed to tell you this, but I've just seen some of the numbers, and it looks like you're number one by 52,000. I thought, fucking hell. I put the kettle on, made a cup of tea, because I didn't know what to do.
So English.
And then, oh God, which paper was it? The Sun, the Scum, tried to ring, and we weren't taking phone calls from them because we worked out their phone number, so we didn't answer any phone calls from the Sun. And we got one from the, Christ, it was some local newspaper in the middle of nowhere. It was like the Todd Morden Times in Yorkshire. I don't know who they were. And this guy with an accent sort of goes, congratulations. Yeah, how are you going to tell us how you're celebrating? I said, well, I don't know yet. They've not announced it. And he just just heard this word go, oh, fuck. I shouldn't have said that, sorry. Yeah, how do you think you're going to do it then? I was like, well, hang on a minute. You've just congratulated me. What's going on? And then basically we worked out that a press release had gone out, which was embargoed, and basically
Embargoed?
Yeah, they're doing embargoed press release for the Christmas number one, so you can only find out when they actually announce it on the radio. Okay. So so I made another cup of tea, had 2 cups of tea within the space of about half an hour, and panicked.
Yeah.
And then the floodgates just opened. We had just literally CNN, we had German TV. Just everybody was just trying to ring us. We had a PAP outside our house.
That was me. Sorry, that was totally unrelated.
So did you?
Yeah. I did call the relevant authorities.
Did you ever hear from Simon Cowell? Did you spoke to him?
Yeah, he rang me up. Basically Simon Cowell. I don't know how they. One thing I learned a lot of things during that campaign, but one thing I learned was that if someone wants to get your mobile number, no matter who they are, they'll get it, okay? And I've worked out how to do it now. But this phone number rang, and it was this weird, like, all the ones. It was literally like 0777 111 1111. I thought, what the fuck is that? So I answered it, and it was a guy. It was like, hi, is that John? And I said, yeah, it's Simon Cowell. And I thought, yeah, fuck
yeah,
off.
nice one.
Yeah, all right, mate. Yeah, go on. Yeah, oh no, it is. It's Simon Cowell. And he goes, no, it's Simon Cowell. Look, I'll be honest with you. I'll be totally honest with you. Really, I love what you've done, but don't tell my lot. But I also hate you. He didn't say that, but no, I found out afterwards that he did actually really hate me, and we really fucked up his Christmas. Genuinely, he was really, really upset about it. But he did ring up, and in fairness to him, he was all right. He was okay, you know. He just said, look, well done. I've been in the industry 20 years. I've had a lot of people try and take me out, and with all due respect, you're some fucking bloke in the middle of Essex that's not even in the music industry, and you've done it. So, yeah, all right, I'll give you that. Well done, you know.
Amazing. That's so cool.
And so, yeah, that's kind of how it all happened. I've got to say, though, once it happened, literally about 2 hours after we got declared Christmas number one, I had Rick Mayall's manager ring me up, and Rick Mayall wants to release a record next year. He's just said, "Can you get that cunt that did that Rage Against the Machine thing? Get him, and bring him on board." So yeah, it opened up things.
So
I mean, that would be the highlight
for
for me.
Get to hang out with Rick Mayall?
Yeah, I worked with Rick Mayall afterwards. Yeah, we did. We did a football song. He did a football song, and he basically said, "Can you do you want to come and work on a record with me?" And you don't turn down Rick Mayall, fucking hell. You do not turn down Rick Mayall.
Amazing.
And so we went to. Oh Christ alive! How long we got? Working with Rick Mayall was just astonishing. And I have to say, we did a football song where, I don't know if any remember it, it was called Noble England, and it was basically, the video, he dressed up as King Henry V, right, all very regal.
Right.
And we had to do a film shooting, the video in Leeds Castle in Kent. And we turn up, and I was married at the time. We turn up and just normal clothes. And Rick's in this full regal Henry V, like proper chainmail and everything. Rick Mail's wearing fucking hell, look at that, it's Rick Mail with a chainmail. And we had to go and do, it's a big area, it's a big castle. And they gave us these golf carts to travel around in, right? But we had drivers. And because Rick Mail was wearing this massive, huge king's cloak, that he had these photos taken in, a huge cloak, and he had to sit on this big seat on the back of this golf cart being driven around. And so he had his own golf cart, and we were sort of following on behind him. There was 2 carts. And as we go through the car park for Leeds Castle, this coach had literally just turned up full of Americans, right? And as we're going past, they're all getting out, and they're all, I don't stereotype, no, fuck it, I do stereotype some of them. Shorts on, the cameras around the necks, everything, caps. And you could tell they're Americans. And he goes past them and he starts waving at these Americans like he's doing this royal wave. Hello, hello, subjects. Stop the car, stop the car, stop the car. And thank you for coming. I would love you to all come into our banquet later on. It's at 5 o'clock. Don't be late. Make sure you make sure you're wearing a tie. You're not allowed because I don't like what you're wearing. And he just started just talking to these Americans. But they were all going for it. They were like, oh God, oh Christ, who's that? That's the king? Is that the king? And we were sort of going, no, that's King Henry V. Just don't say anything. And he actually was he just played characters constantly. And just to cut that up, it's obviously I'm dragging on a bit here, but but to cut that story short, the song unfortunately was a bit of a flop. This is 2010 World Cup. Scroll on 4 years, and sadly Rick died literally the week before the World Cup. And his daughter Rosie got in touch and said, look, we want to see if we can re-release the song, but I don't really know. My dad's just died and all that. So I said, right, leave it to me. I'll do it. I'll do everything. And I've just noticed, I've just seen Wayne. Wayne's here, there. Is that Wayne? No, I thought it was Wayne not here. I thought he was looking like Wayne. Is Wayne not here? Cunt. No, he is actually called Cunt. That was a long story. But I wore I got asked to go to do an interview for ITV News for the Rick Mail campaign. And so I wore a Cunt and a Gang t-shirt on live ITV News. And that is on YouTube. You can go and find that as well.
Amazing.
That's Essex. I'm bringing it back to Essex.
Right, so what is your 5 then? Well, your number 1.
My favourite thing about Essex is our musical heritage, because we don't shout about it enough, I think. And I've always believed that. And I think we, as a county, we have got a fantastic musical heritage. I mean, I don't know where, from the Small Faces to obviously the big ones like Depeche Mode, Blur, The Prodigy. Iron Maiden, if you count pre-1965 borders, the Horrors, TheMilk, the B Roads is one of my favourite tunes. Filmed in Southend, actually, as well, wasn't it, that video? Yeah, there you go. Scroobius Pip, of course, at the back. It's to the point where a few years ago I made a playlist on Spotify called The Real Way is Essex, and I just did all Essex bands, and we got 50 artists on there. And quite a lot of subscribers, and it's we've got such a great heritage, and to me that is my favourite thing about Essex, because I think we've all got to be proud of it. We've given the world some really, really brilliant artists.
Totally, like Stu recently shared that thing. What was it, yesterday?
It was Depeche Mode in the States.
You know them quite well, don't you, Depeche Mode?
No, I wish I did. They're one of my favourite recording artists, and this year in the States they have sold more tickets for their shows than Bieber,
Ed Sheeran, Taylor Swift. That's
all put together.
That's absolutely mind-boggling.
And that comes from not being fashionable, even though that's Depeche Mode is fast fashion. But that comes to being fucking stylish and never going out of fashion. Because it's just fucking solid music.
Their fan base is 35 to 60, I was reading it, and yet they've still pulled that many people out to come and see him perform and absolutely fucking smash it.
Yeah.
And they're from Essex, so yeah, amazing.
Yeah,
Denise Van Outen, did she ever release anything?
Where the fuck did that come from? rich musical heritage, and you're going to talk about her fucking single she done with Johnny Vaughan called "Come Outside." I know that.
Actually, it was especially for you. It was the Kylie and Jason
That
cover.
was the one they put out for Christmas.
Sorry, I know that.
Yeah.
I was joking. I didn't know she'd done anything, but yeah.
Yeah,
You know, we've got loads. We've got loads of it. And a very quick story. Can I tell my Cavern Club story? Actually,
yeah.
I do public speaking, part of what I do, and I did a keynote speech at the Liverpool Sound City Festival, and there's like an after show party, and I was at this after show. And these two sort of quite buxom chaps came up to me and said, I'm not going to do Liverpool accent because I'll just embarrass myself, but I said, I really enjoyed your talk. Where are you from? You're not from round here, are you? And I said, oh, no, I'm from Essex. And I kid you not, and they go, oh, I'd love to go to Essex. I said, what? What do you do? And they run the Cavern Club. These two guys were the managers of the Cavern Club. And they're going, yeah, we have to turn down Bryan Adams every week. He still wants to turn up and play and jam. And Rod Stewart turns up and we have to, blimey. And they're talking, there's all these big stars that want to come and play the Cavern. And so I asked them, I said, look, with all respect, you run the Cavern Club. This is one of the homes of British music. What the fuck do you want to come to Essex for? Oh, I'd love to go to Canvey Island.
It's better than Southend.
And obviously I had to ask the question. I was up in the middle of Liverpool. I was like, why? I'm sorry, why do you want to come to Canvey Island for? I don't understand that. But do you live near Canvey Island? Yeah, I'm about 10 minutes away. Why the hell do you want to come to Canvey? He goes, well, Dr. Feelgood from there, and they're their favourite band ever. They're better than the Beatles. Even though we don't tell people that because we run the Cavern Club, but Dr. Feelgood were better than the Beatles without a shadow of a doubt. I was like, fucking hell. Well, yeah, they're a great band, very proud. Wilco Johnson, the Essex legend, of course. And literally, the second thing they came out with was, we might come down at some point as well because we mentioned Ian Jory earlier. Goes, yeah, Ian Jory was from Dagenham. That's near you as well, isn't it? I said, yeah, Ian Jory, we done the whole works. We started talking them all, like Billy Bragg and Head Swim.
Well,
Head Swim, they were brilliant, weren't they?
I've got a few Head Swim fans out there.
Yeah.
Well, look,
Anyway.
on that point, we're going to round things up now, but we're going to bring Pip on stage again because we've got something really sweet, I think.
Again?
I don't want him back on. He said in the break, I want to come back on. It was like, all right. When he says we got to do, haven't we?
Sure.
Actually, can I just say, I've just noticed because you've got Toblerones and a chocolate orange with
Yes,
superficial damage
The
on the
idea was
box.
to do the Toblerone.
That's so Partridge.
Well, no,
I'm so impressed by that.
There was a thing called a Toblerone, which is you open up the Toblerone and then you put all the segments of the orange within it, and it looks incredible. But Mark Watts smashed the Toblerone in the first half, and then in the second half just smashed an orange.
And then threw the orange at us on stage.
And when you were being all emotional and talking about all your talented friends and listing people, Mark looked round at me, gave me a smile and stuffed a big handful of popcorn in his mouth. Crack me up. That's the best bit. You know?
Right, so Pip.
One of the things that's come up a lot is as you were saying, with all your mates here, and you've got a lot of people here who've just had albums out, have had big releases and big gigs, yet they're all coming on a Thursday night to sit in the Civic. And like a Russell Brand's example, he was the first person on my podcast, and he didn't have to do that. He's huge, but he did because I'm local. And
Russell Brand also put a show on next door for one of our guests out there, whose brother's son's terminally ill, and he come and done a show for nothing just to raise money. So my mate's brother could
again, and that's it. That does feel like quite an Essex thing, that kind of support. And I realised in the break, because after you've been talking about Ian Jury, anyone from Essex adores, like around the world, Billy Bragg is a hero. But if you're from Essex, he's a massive deal because he was one of the first people I heard singing in the accent I know. So so we can do that as well. Yeah. That's exceptional. And I was lucky enough to have played some gigs with him over the years, and my goddaughter became a big Billy Bragg fan, and she was 5. Her dad, a Warren, who's been in loads of local bands, I Shouted Gun and loads of others, he used to play it to her, and she started requesting it when she was in the car with her mum. And I mentioned it to Billy, and he did her a video for a birthday, so I thought I'd show that. I've not shown anyone it publicly, but you'll
He's
be able
not
to
got
see
any
it.
trousers on.
He has got trousers on. It's just Billy at the door, but he made this, as I said, for Lola, who's a 5-year-old.
Can everyone see this?
Change the world. I just want to say happy birthday to Lola. Happy birthday from Billy Bragg. Happy birthday, Lola. Sorry I couldn't be there to play at your party, but I thought I'd sing you this video anyway through Uncle Scrooby. Happy birthday.
Brilliant.
You see how lovely is that?
That's well cool.
And that feels like it sums up a lot of the stuff that's been said about Essex tonight. That it's just, I'll do that for a 5-year-old. He was on tour all over the world at the time. He's like, yeah, I'll jump in front of a door, and that's that. And I thought that was a lovely thing to share. So.
Absolutely,
Yeah, we look out for our own, don't we?
Absolutely.
Very, very sweet.
Perfect way to finish. Everyone, thanks for coming tonight. Have a lovely Christmas.
Thank you.
And thanks for your support and listening. And thanks to everyone that come down tonight and guested and got drunk and had fun. Thank you. Let's have a drink.